You might be thinking to yourself, my intuition is not speaking to me. Now, that's a lot of us when we first start out. But what I'm here to talk about today is how your body is the first sign that your intuition is speaking to you. Most people expect their intuition to sound like a voice in their head or to get a visual image across their mind, but that's not necessarily the case in the beginning. For a lot of us, it's something that happens in our body as the first sign that our intuition is trying to get our attention. That's called clairsentience. Today, we're going to talk about how we use our clairsentience and our intuition and how you have actually been getting intuitive hits this whole time. Take comfort that you are not alone in this, and we're going to talk about the signs and how to decode them today. Hello everyone, I'm Emily Snyder from Connected Intuition. I'm a psychic medium and also an intuition teacher. Today, I'm going to talk about something that I wish people understood more. Your body is intuition's first language. Have you ever gotten like a sudden warmth in your chest or a coolness in your fingers or a tingling across your back? What about a little nudge at the back of your head or a bit of pressure pushing you just in that right direction? Or my favorite is that emotional shift that happens at the bottom of your stomach when you're least expecting it, either to the positive or the negative. Or what about just that soft expansion in your chest when something just feels exactly right? All of those things are your intuition speaking through your body. Clairsentience is your intuitive sense of feeling and emotion, and that's what we're going to talk about today. In the intuition space, we have lots of different clairs. You get visual cues, audio cues, all-knowing cues. You can even get smell and taste. But today, we're going to focus on that feeling, usually the one that comes first. As a side note, clairsentience is a sensation in your body, an emotional response. It is a sister friend to claircognizance, which is an all-knowing. So if you can finish the sentence, I know this to be true, and then finish the sentence, that is claircognizance. It is actually different than clairsentience, but the two sometimes work hand in hand. Don't dismiss them. It's okay if you can't tell the difference between them. Just let both clairs work together. When you're getting these sensations, these tingles, these nudges, these overwhelming urges of emotion that come out of nowhere, that's not nothing. It's not just a feeling. It is actually your intuition speaking to you. So today we're going to talk about how to decode that. The first step is to notice. Notice what's happening to you. Write it down. It's very helpful to keep a journal and say, hey, today I felt this sensation around this time. This was what was happening in my life. And then come back to it. Revisit that and confirm for yourself that that unease you felt was right before a snowstorm like we just had here in New York City. Or that elation that you felt ahead of a phone call was really the good news that you were expecting and you got a little bit of a preview to that emotion. Those are all great to track and write down. It helps you understand your own level of sensitivity, your own signs, your own dictionary of how your intuition is speaking to you. I will note, keep noticing the smallest nudges. This can be quiet language, so write down anything that feels like it possibly could be something and keep track. Over time, you'll notice that your hit rate gets higher and higher. One of my earliest examples of this is when I was at a yarn festival in upstate New York with my sister. This was an early weekend in my own psychic mediumistic intuition development, and I got all of the sensations that weekend, kind of all at once, sometimes all at the same time. It was a bit, let's call it, overwhelming. There was no way I could ignore the emotionality coming through my body that weekend. That clairsentience was on high alert. I got heat, tingles, pressure, emotions bubbling up from my stomach. It was like my intuition was saying, don't ignore me, here I am. Let's do a little exercise to heighten your awareness of your clairsentience. So what I want you to do is just sit in your chair and briefly close your eyes. And I want you to envision yourself walking into a very happy moment in your life. So this could be a surprise birthday party, a wedding, the birth of a child, something that felt oh so joyful for you. And what I want you to do is walk yourself through from start to finish that event. And I want you to notice the sensations in your body. Notice what bubbles up for you, where you feel it, what emotions come through. Did you feel any tingling at that moment in time? This is just about heightening that sensitivity around your clairsentience so that you know what they feel like in your body the next time your intuition starts working. So, while we're here, just walk yourself through that day. Notice your body. Notice your emotions. Where are you feeling it in your body as those joyful feelings come over you? Walk yourself through all the way to the end. I love that exercise. You get to revisit this amazing moment in your life, but you also get to use it to calibrate your own sense of joy, your own sense of positivity for your intuition go forward. Now, a note on training as to why you may not be sensing all of these sensations in your body. We are trained to ignore the subtlety of our intuition. Why? Well, we could go into that for a very long time. You are intuitive. You have just been taught to override your body's own sense of wisdom. Who teaches us that? Well, that's a longer conversation. But I will say, as we grow up, we're taught to learn the scientific method, prove ourselves in writing and in math, and use concrete evidence to solve the crime. The subtlety of childhood and the surety of knowing ourselves definitely does get lost over time as we constantly have to prove ourselves. Intuition lives in the gray, in the ethereal, in the energy of our universe, not something that you can always write down with facts. But I want you to know, you are intuitive. Your intuition is speaking to you. It's most likely reaching through your body as its first sign, and you just need the tools to decode it. When I teach students in my class, I teach them a progression of where we're starting from and where we want to get to with our intuition. The first step is really noticing those sensations, that exercise we did to step into the space and notice how feelings and emotions were rumbling through our body. The second step is sitting in the power. I've got lots of videos about that. What that allows us to do is hold our intuitive connection with the power of the universe longer. What we're trying to do is move from, hey, I might be getting a sign, to being able to have a dialogue. Next up is to practice that sensitivity. I'm going to walk you through another exercise that's going to help you kind of dig a little bit deeper into that sensitivity, and then also practice our curiosity. What questions do you have to ask of yourself, your higher self, your intuition? What do you want to know? As you ask those questions, the answers that come back will be bigger, stronger, more intuitive information coming forward that will help you live your life in the best possible way. I also believe in validation over time. You can write off one little thing as coincidence, but it's a lot harder if you're keeping track of what's happening, the sensations in your body and what's happening next, and that information that's coming to you is really resonating deep within the soul of who you are. It's a lot harder to ignore that. So I like that validation over time. This progression helps you go from, hey, I'm noticing that my hands are cold, to, hey, I notice that my hands are cold, which I know based on all of the times that I've talked to my intuition means slow down, sit back, take a relaxing day. Then it goes to, hey, I hear that you're telling me to slow down. What's going on? Is this something about my relationship, my career? Is this about my health? And as I'm asking that question, I'm then gauging in my body, hey, I feel a yes around relationship. Then I can ask another question. Okay, is this based on relationship with my family? Is this a love life question? Where are you going with this slow down? And you can start to sense what information your guides, your intuition, your higher self, the universe, whoever is out there giving us a guiding hand is trying to get to you. I love real world examples and I also love story time, so let me tell you a couple examples from my own life. As I mentioned before, there was a pivotal yarn festival with my sister where my psychic, intuition, mediumistic journey with the energy of the universe really started. And that's when I got huge intuitive downloads, but then eventually also got visual cues and audio cues that helped me kind of understand the full story of what was happening. If you want more to that story, you can check out my story here on YouTube. The first thing I noticed that weekend was warmth. Oh my goodness, the warmth. I seem to have a thing with my intuition, spirit, and mediumistic souls who come close to me. They make me so hot, so hot. I've never asked for this to stop because I'm generally a cold person, but I will tell you that weekend it was like hot, sweaty all weekend long. As a side note, my mediumistic bestie, Mel, also gets the same problem. We often talk about needing to reapply deodorant. We definitely had to do that at Arthur Finley when doing like 20 readings a day. Oh, so sweaty. You can never wear long sleeves. You can never wear a jacket, even in England, even in the winter. The second thing I noticed that weekend was the tingles. Tingles down the back of my head, across my shoulders. Anytime I was talking to a loved one who had passed or getting an intuitive download about my own life, tingles, tingles, tingles all over my body. Sometimes it would start at the top of my head and go all the way down my back, kind of like a spider running down your back. That's kind of what it felt like. And sometimes it would just be like on my shoulders, accompanied by like a little bit of pressure. All those times, it was, hey, pay attention, lady. Pay attention, lady. Something's coming. What I noticed next was these feelings like bubbling up from the bottom of my stomach. And sometimes they felt like me, and sometimes they didn't feel like me. Like all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I'd get this uneasy feeling, or this feeling of joy, or this feeling of elation. And I'd be like, but I'm not feeling that right this second. And then I knew, once I kind of started to name that emotion and sensation that I was feeling, alongside some of the other clairs, that this was not about me. This was actually giving me information about something else. I was so plugged in that weekend. These feelings and emotions would just bubble up on top of the heat and the pressure and the tingling. Everything would happen all at once. It was like information overload that weekend for sure. My sister and I sat down to brunch on that Sunday, and it all kind of came to a head for me. I was sitting kind of talking to her about our life, about what had been happening to me. We're kind of processing this whole weekend of sensations. And I think I said out loud to her something along the lines of, well, this is never going to be my full-time job. And then immediately what I felt in my stomach was like this unease bubble up and kind of like feeling like I had to throw up a little bit, like that feeling like I've just told a lie, but I didn't think I was telling a lie. I truly believed that I was not going to do this full time. Joke was on me. I am a full-time psychic medium these days. After I felt that in my stomach, I thought, I have to do something with this. And then it was like fireworks went off and there was like a settling in my stomach, and I knew that was the right answer. Over time, I've progressed to have a dictionary of sorts with my own intuition. I know what a yes feels like in my body, what a no feels like in my body, what a maybe or a wait a little longer, or no, run for the hills, or this is the time to really push it. All of those have different sensations in my body that I have kind of calibrated over time. In the next exercise, we're going to calibrate what yes, no, and maybe feel like for you. Before we begin this yes-no calibration, I just want to have a note on the other clairs. So we're focusing on clairsentience with kind of an asterisk to our claircognizance in the sense of all-knowing. But if you do get audio cues or visual cues, anything else that's not fitting into that little box that we've created for ourselves, don't ignore it. This is your time to really feel everything, see everything, hear everything, experience all ways that your body is trying to communicate yes, no, and maybe. First, we want to clear out our mind and settle into our chair. Give yourself a nice deep breath in and push all of the words and sensations that I've just said out as you breathe out. We want a clear vessel of a body. Allow your mind to clear. Allow your body to feel light and airy. Now, I want you to ask your intuition, show me what yes feels like in my body. Notice any emotions, sensations, pressure, tingles. Now I would like you to ask your body to show you what no feels like. Again, notice the sensations, pressure, feelings. And finally, ask your body what maybe feels like. Thank your intuition for showing your body what yes, no, and maybe feel like. Congratulations, you've calibrated your body to a yes, a no, and a maybe. Next time you have a question for yourself, I would sit, quiet your mind, and then ask the question inside your mind. Read the words, should I take the new job? And then feel what a yes, no, or maybe feel like. Your intuition isn't subtle. What do I mean by that? Now, we just got done saying that the signs that I get are subtle and sometimes very quiet. Now, that's definitely true. But your intuition will repeat itself if it really wants you to acknowledge something. If you keep seeing the same sign, hearing the same thing, sensing the same thing in your body without acknowledging it, your intuition will keep feeding you that same information until you acknowledge it and accept it for yourself, and potentially even ask for further clarification or have some curiosity around what that sign means for you. Your intuition is already speaking to you. You're learning how to use those signs. I challenge you to take a moment of your day and ask some questions that you're curious about around your own life, things around career, relationships, family, kids, whatever you got going on. Ask your intuition those questions and sense for yourself that yes, no, or maybe. Then write it down. That's important. You got to remember what you're doing. That will help you validate over time and kind of suss out how those feelings feel in your body. Thank you so very much for joining me. I would appreciate a like or a follow if you liked this video, and please stay tuned on YouTube for more information about how to use your intuition on the daily. I do teach classes if you're interested, and you can reach out to my lovely website and get more information. Again, my name is Emily Snyder from Connected Intuition. As always, stay open, stay curious, stay connected with Connected Intuition. I'll see you next time.